lines pushing aggressively through the cracked concrete, surviving the harshness of this highly polluted street. The asphalt tries to completely smother the green shoot, but nothing can destroy this remarkably stubborn root. I navigate the crowded sidewalks of the financial district, where the municipal regulations are incredibly strict. A tiny blossom blooms directly beneath the towering skyscraper, defying the restrictive blueprints drawn on the architect's paper.
The subway train violently rattles the pedestrian pavement, trapped inside this massive architectural enslavement. I observe the ivy climbing up the brickwork of the alleyway, reclaiming the urban territory day by gritty day. The graffiti murals mimic the vines that we desperately lack, bringing the vibrant colors of the natural ecosystem back. We are metropolitan survivors dwelling in the smoggy haze, navigating our way through this complex municipal maze. Pavement cracking under the immense pressure, finding a highly unconventional natural treasure. Steel and glass blocking out the morning light, but the vegetation refuses to forfeit the fight. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our scuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete jungle where the wild things grow, fighting the metropolitan undertow. Nature reclaims the abandoned parking lot, flourishing exactly in the hardest spot. A botanical rebellion in the city's square, breathing the highly contaminated air. The sanitation trucks rumble past the neon corner store, while the municipal pigeons scavenge the littered floor. I plant a tiny seed inside a rusted coffee tin, determined to let the organic biological process begin. The skyscrapers cast massive, intimidating geometric shadows, replacing the beautiful scenery of the rural meadows. But the subterranean networks are slowly expanding wide, a subterranean revolution that the mayor cannot hide. We cultivate a rooftop garden above the noisy traffic jam, refusing to participate in the corporate synthetic scam. The smog attempts to choke the delicate sprouting leaves, but the resilient flora miraculously adapts and achieves a remarkable victory against the industrial pollution. The ultimate beautifully organic metropolitan solution. I harvest tomatoes grown beside the towering billboard sign, intersecting the natural world with the strictly urban line. Pavement cracking under the immense pressure, finding a highly unconventional natural treasure. Steel and glass blocking out the morning light, but the vegetation refuses to forfeit the fight. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our scuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete jungle where the wild things grow, fighting the metropolitan undertow. Nature reclaims the abandoned parking lot, flourishing exactly in the hardest spot. A botanical rebellion in the city square, breathing the highly contaminated air. Tear down the bridges and smash the stone, let the wild vegetation claim the throne. The metropolis will eventually crumble to dust, returning the architecture to ruin and rust. Throw down, break rock, city block, tick-tock, watch it fall. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our scuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete jungle where the wild things grow, fighting the metropolitan undertow. Nature reclaims
Forged inside a scorching underground industrial foundry, exceeding every single biological human boundary. My chest cavity contains a highly complex machinery, devoid of any soft, organic, natural greenery.
Heavy pistons pump the pressurized oil through my veins, governing the logic that my robotic mind contains. A meticulously constructed metallic internal engine, operating completely outside of any spiritual dimension. I lubricate the spinning cogs with the heavy grease, ensuring that the mechanical friction will finally cease. Winding up the central mainspring with the rusted key, unlocking the metallurgical engineering inside of me. My anatomy consists entirely of soldered copper pipes, a prototype exceeding all the standard human types. The boiler generates an overwhelming amount of steam, powering this incredibly rigid locomotive dream. Polishing the tarnished heavy alloy, a manufactured completely rigid toy, tightening the bolts and heavy screws, singing these industrial factory blues. Operating with the heavy brass heart, tearing the anatomical theories apart. A clockwork mechanism ticking inside, nowhere for the vulnerabilities to hide. Pumping synthetic fluids through the chest, surviving the ultimate metallurgical test. A completely emotionless ticking machine, the most rigid anatomy you have ever seen. The gears aggressively grind against the inner cage, representing a highly suppressed mechanical rage. I measure the internal pressure with a dial gauge, trapped inside this Victorian technological age. Sparks fly wildly from the central exhaust vent, revealing exactly how my mechanical energy is spent. A highly calibrated, perfectly measured output, with heavy iron anchors bolted to my metallic foot. Oxidation threatens to heavily corrode my framework, the only biological flaw that manages to lurk. I replace the broken valves with the brand new part, protecting the integrity of my manufactured heart. The rhythmic clicking replaces the standard pulse, a structural design that manages to heavily repulse the romantic notions of a soft biological love, constructed from the scrap metal gathered up above. Polishing the tarnished heavy alloy, a manufactured completely rigid toy, tightening the bolts and heavy screws, singing these industrial factory blues. Operating with the heavy brass heart, tearing the anatomical theories apart. A clockwork mechanism ticking inside, nowhere for the vulnerabilities to hide. Pumping synthetic fluids through the chest, surviving the ultimate metallurgical test. A completely emotionless ticking machine.
I've ever seen. The gear stops turning, the coal stops burning, steam escapes, metallic shapes. Flipping through the cardboard sleeves inside the thrift boutique, searching for an obscure, incredibly rare antique. The artwork on the cover is faded yellow and torn, a forgotten masterpiece from before we were even born. I pulled the black disc gently from its paper sleeve, discovering a musical treasure that I can barely believe. The format is completely analog, wonderfully authentic, a tangible piece of history, beautifully photogenic.
I wipe the surface gently with a velvet cleaning pad, rescuing the best auditory experience I ever had. Placing the person carefully onto the rotating platter, watching the circular motion is all that really matters.
The needle drops downward into the microscopic trench, releasing a glorious sound that manages to thoroughly quench my immense thirst for an old school traditional beat, a remarkably warm sensation radiating down the street. Revolution spinning at 45, keeping the ancestral voices alive, spiraling inward toward the center label, vibrating across the wooden table. Listening to this dusty vinyl spin, letting the authentic nostalgia begin, hissing gently in the background space, a beautifully unpolished retrograde. The grooves contain a myriad of secrets, a classic pressing that everyone respects, crackling loudly with every rotation, a timeless analog infatuation.
The track skips slightly over a tiny surface scratch, but the underlying melody is impossible to match. I read the liner notes printed on the back cover, learning about the studio musicians and the tragic lover who inspired the lyricist to write this specific tune. Recorded under the glow of a 1960s moon, the fidelity is raw, unfiltered, and intensely real, capturing exactly how the original performers feel.
We sit cross-legged on the shag carpet floor, enjoying the ambience and asking for nothing more. The turntable mechanism hums with the quiet drive, making the apartment feel magically alive. A warm crackle punctuates the quiet instrumental break, a charming imperfection that digital audio cannot fake. I flip the record over to experience side B, sharing this vintage auditory journey exclusively with me. Revolution spinning at 45, keeping the ancestral voices alive, spiraling inward toward the center label, vibrating across the wooden table. Listening to this dusty vinyl spin, letting the authentic nostalgia begin, hissing gently in the background space, a beautifully unpolished retrograde. The grooves contain a myriad of secrets, a classic pressing that everyone respects, crackling loudly with every rotation, a timeless analog infatuation. Preserve the wax, protect the groove, watch the stylus effortlessly move, a physical medium that will endure, an auditory experience beautifully unpolished retro grace. The grooves contain a myriad of secrets, a classic pressing that everyone respects, crackling loudly with every rotation, a timeless analog infatuation. The needle lifts, the music shifts, static remains, vintage gains. Strolling barefoot through the highly fertile agricultural grove, finding an incredibly peaceful hidden botanical cove. The branches sag heavily beneath the weight of the ripe fruit, a magnificent harvest originating from the deepest earth root. The equatorial winds carry a remarkably sticky sweet scent, a beautifully natural environment where my afternoon is spent. I reach upwards to pluck a vibrant yellow-red sphere, the most delicious offering of this entire harvest year.
The trade winds blow gently across the verdant coastal farm, protecting the rural villagers from any environmental harm.
I slice the thick skin with a highly sharpened pocket knife,
embracing the simplicity of this incredibly
agrarian life.
The orange nectar drips generously down my bearded chin, a sugary reward for the agricultural labor I am
engaged in.
We sit comfortably beneath the vast protective leafy shade, enjoying the most perfect afternoon
that nature
ever made. Oh, a deeply aromatic fruity perfume,
making the entire botanical garden bloom. The natural sweetness permeates the air, eliminating every single worldly care. Swaying gently in this mango breeze, finding an absolute equatorial ease, the incredibly sweet scent of the harvest providing a profoundly relaxing rural rest. A sugary zephyr blowing through the leaves, some botanical blessing that everyone receives, breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector.
I weave a large basket from the flexible dried palm fronds, gathering the fallen produce beside the local muddy ponds. The villagers sing a highly uplifting traditional folk song, a deeply communal space where we all perfectly belong. The citrusy aroma mixes flawlessly with the salty ocean air, a wonderfully fragrant combination beyond any compare. We share the bounty with every single passing neighborhood friend, hoping this extraordinarily peaceful summer will never end. The sticky residue coats my fingertips with a golden glaze, navigating through this remarkably fragrant tropical maze. I press the soft flesh directly against my smiling lips, while the joyful reggae rhythm heavily sways my hips. A flock of exotic parrots walks enthusiastically above,
celebrating this environment of agricultural earthy love. The breeze rustles the foliage with a highly satisfying sound, the greatest, most abundant orchard to ever be found. The deeply aromatic, fruity perfume making the entire botanical garden bloom. The natural sweetness permeates the air, eliminating every single worldly care. Swaying gently in this mango breeze, finding an absolute equatorial ease. The incredibly sweet scent of the harvest, providing a profoundly relaxing rest. The sugary zephyr blowing through the leaves, a botanical blessing that everyone receives. Breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector. Agricultural sector.
Taste the sunshine captured in the skin.
Let the deeply satisfying feast begin.
The earth provides a wonderfully sweet treat,
Making our tropical existence complete. Reach high, pull down, sweetest fruit in the town. Bite it, taste the sun, taste the sun. Oh, swaying gently in this mango breeze, finding an absolute equatorial ease. The incredibly sweet scent of the harvest, providing a profoundly relaxing rest. The sugary zephyr blowing through the leaves, a botanical blessing that everyone receives. Breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector.
sweet and ripe, the perfect type.
Wind blows soft, look aloft. Carefully placing the diamond stylus upon the groove, commanding the vintage turntable to flawlessly move. The analog hiss provides a highly comforting bed for the sophisticated melodies running through my head. The vacuum tubes inside the amplifier begin to glow, producing an incredibly rich, continuous audio flow. I adjust the equalization knobs on the stereo rack, ensuring that this beautiful composition never lacks.
The drummer firmly establishes the permanent pocket, locking the percussion tightly inside the socket. No rush in the tempo and absolutely no dragging behind. A meticulously calculated metric
that perfectly aligns. I press my ear against the wooden speaker cone, analyzing the magnificent texture of the baritone. The synchronization of the rhythm section is precise, a flawlessly executed musical slice of paradise. The metronome swings with a constant tick. The guitarist executes a masterful trick, maintaining the pace with absolute grace, securing our spot in the sonic space, keeping the frequency beautifully jazz steady. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready, a seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious awards, sailing smoothly upon a constant rhythm, the most reliable performance you could ever crave. Unyielding, unchanging, dependably cool, following every single orchestrational rule.
sessions but zero mistakes, delivering perfection on all the studio takes. The pianist glides across the ivory keys with an unprecedented, unbelievable level of ease. The bass frequencies anchor the foundation down, the tightest, most cohesive quartet in the town. We calibrate the microphones to capture the room, eliminating any harshness or unnecessary boom. The fidelity of the recording is spectacularly clear, pleasing the sophisticated, highly critical ear. The magnetic tape captures the authentic sound, the most professional musicians to ever be found. I catalog the album inside my extensive library, a phenomenal addition to the auditory sanctuary. The spindle rotates at 33 revolutions, providing the ultimate rhythmic resolutions. The metronome swings with a constant tick. The guitarist executes a masterful trick, maintaining the pace with absolute grace, securing our spot in this sonic space, keeping the frequency beautifully jazz steady. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready, a seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious awards, sailing smoothly upon the constant rhythmic wave. The most reliable performance you could ever crave, unyielding, unchanging, dependably cool, following every single orchestrational rule. Never wavering from the fundamental beat, a remarkably consistent, unbelievable feat. The groove is cemented, the foundation is strong and absolutely flawless. Uninterrupted song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it tight, give them more. Keeping the frequency beautifully jazz steady. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready, a seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious awards, sailing smoothly upon the constant rhythmic wave. The most reliable performance you could ever crave, unyielding, unchanging, dependably cool, following every single orchestrational rule. Fade the track, do not look back. The record ends to all my friends. Standing in the center of an entirely abandoned estate, a massive architectural wonder that suffered a terrible fate. The marble floors are absolutely bare and brutally cold, reflecting the lonely story that has never been told. I shout my vocalizer seasons up toward the vaulted ceiling, generating a deeply uncomfortable, isolated feeling. The acoustics magnify every single solitary breath, a massive empty mansion simulating the quiet of death. My leather boots tap loudly across the grand foyer, creating a terrifying noise that I constantly abhor. There is absolutely zero furniture to absorb the sound, the most deserted interior to ever be found. I call out your specific name into the spiraling stairwell, trapped completely
completely inside this vacant, luxurious hell. The sound waves bounce against the elaborate plaster molding, revealing the absolute emptiness that this house is holding. Rebounding off the completely bare walls, traveling down the terrifyingly vast halls, a vacuum of human presence and warmth, facing the terribly lonely quiet storm. Listening to these haunting, hollow echoes, following everywhere the lonely spirit goes, a reverberating reminder of the empty space haunting this magnificently deserted place. The amplitude multiplies in the massive room, a booming declaration of our quiet doom. We are utterly surrounded by the returning noise. The architecture entirely destroys our poise. The crystal chandelier trembles from the acoustic shock. I stare intensely at the broken stationary clock. My whispered apologies travel all the way upstairs. Nobody in this gigantic unfurnished palace cares. The frequencies collide and merge into a ghostly hum, waiting for the promised visitors who will never come. I clap my hands just to measure the terrible delay, watching the sonic energy slowly deteriorate away. The grand ballroom is entirely devoid of any guests, putting my psychological endurance to the greatest tests. I sing a mournful lullaby into the dining corridor. The volume feels 10 times louder than it was before. The reflection of the tone is flawlessly precise, a terrifyingly accurate acoustic device. We cannot hide from the sounds that we create inside this massive, horrifyingly empty real estate. Rebounding off the completely bare walls, traveling down the terrifyingly vast halls, a vacuum of human presence and warmth, facing the terribly lonely quiet storm. Listening to these haunting, hollow echoes, following everywhere the lonely spirit goes, a reverberating reminder of the empty space haunting this magnificently deserted place. The amplitude multiplies in the massive room, a booming declaration of our quiet doom. We are utterly surrounded by the returning noise. The architecture entirely destroys our poise. The decibels finally drop down to zero. There is no rescue and absolutely no hero. Shout out, hear it bounce, every word, every ounce, coming back, fade to black. Listening to these haunting, hollow echoes, following everywhere the lonely spirit goes, a reverberating reminder of the empty space haunting this magnificently deserted place. The amplitude multiplies in the massive room, a booming declaration of our quiet doom. We are utterly surrounded by the returning noise. The architecture entirely destroys our poise. Nothing is there, just empty air. Close the door, speak no more. massive architectural wonder that suffered a terrible fate. The marble floors are absolutely bare and brutally cold, reflecting the lonely story that has never been told.
I shout my vocal lasers easing up toward the vaulted ceiling, generating a deeply uncomfortable, isolated feeling. The acoustics magnify every single solitary breath, a massive empty mansion simulating the
Quiet of death.
My leather boots tap loudly across the grand foyer, creating a terrifying noise that I constantly abhor. There is absolutely zero furniture to absorb the sound, the most deserted interior to ever be found. I call out your specific name into the spiraling stairwell, trapped completely inside this vacant, luxurious hell. The sound waves bounce against the elaborate plaster molding, revealing the absolute emptiness that this house is holding. Rebounding off the completely bare walls, traveling down the terrifyingly vast halls, a vacuum of human presence and warmth, facing the terribly lonely quiet storm, listening to these haunting hollow echoes, following everywhere the lonely spirit goes, a reverberating reminder of the empty space, haunting this magnificently deserted place. The amplitude multiplies in the massive room, a booming declaration of our quiet doom. We are utterly surrounded by the returning noise. The architecture entirely destroys our poise. The crystal chandelier trembles from the acoustic shock. I stare intensely at the broken stationary clock. My whispered apologies travel all the way upstairs. Nobody in this gigantic unfurnished palace cares.
The frequencies collide and merge into a ghostly hum, waiting for the promised visitors who will never come. I clap my hands just to measure the terrible delay, watching the sonic energy slowly deteriorate away. The grand ballroom is entirely devoid of any guests, putting my psychological endurance to the greatest tests. I sing a mournful lullaby into the dining corridor. The volume feels 10 times louder than it was before. The reflection of the tone is flawlessly precise, a terrifyingly accurate acoustic device. We cannot hide from the sounds that we create inside this massive, horrifyingly empty real estate. Rebounding off the completely bare walls, traveling down the terrifyingly vast halls, a vacuum of human presence and warmth, facing the terribly lonely quiet storm, listening to these haunting hollow echoes, following everywhere the lonely spirit goes, a reverberating reminder of the empty space, haunting this magnificently deserted place. The amplitude multiplies in the massive room, a booming declaration of our quiet doom. We are utterly surrounded by the returning noise. The spectacular horizon transforms into a brilliant apricot hue, a magnificent celestial painting entirely ignored by you. Streaks of magenta stretch broadly across the stratospheric dome, while you stare relentlessly at your glowing mobile phone. The clouds are burning with an incredibly vivid fiery pink, but you are far too distracted to even pause and think. A masterpiece of nature occurring right above our heads, while we stubbornly focus on our foolish arguments instead.
Sitting oblivious upon the splintered wooden back porch, while the evening sky lights a magnificent atmospheric torch, I complain bitterly about the monotonous events of my day, letting this unparalleled visual phenomenon completely slip away. The watercolor canvas shifts into a deep, majestic violet, a breathtaking natural display that remains entirely silent. We squander the beautiful moments searching for a flaw, failing to appreciate this twilight with appropriate awe. Brilliant colors fading into the gray, another unappreciated squandered day, blind to the majestic painted sky, watching the glorious daylight die, experiencing these tragically wasted sunsets, accumulating a mountain of visual regret. The universe offers a spectacularly free show, but our ungrateful heads are tilted far too low, ignoring the magnificent painted atmosphere, refusing to acknowledge the beauty right here. A glorious panorama that we utterly neglect, failing to show the twilight its proper respect. The celestial artist slowly packs away the cosmic brush as the neighborhood descends into a deeply ignorant hush. I pace furiously across the incredibly narrow backyard lawn, complaining about the trivial problems since the early dawn. The golden hour provides a highly flattering, gorgeous light, but my pessimistic attitude ruins the spectacular sight. I prioritize my grievances over the phenomenal view, missing the miraculous transition from the orange to the blue. The final rays of daylight catch the leaves on the oak tree, a remarkably stunning spectacle that I entirely fail to see. I am too busy drafting a highly vindictive, angry text, constantly worrying about whatever disaster happens next. The magnificent gradients dissolving to a darkened navy, my emotional state remains incredibly turbulent and wavy. We sacrifice the momentary glimpse of absolute perfection for a highly unnecessary, incredibly toxic deflection. Brilliant colors fading into the gray, another unappreciated squandered day, blind to the majestic painted sky, watching the glorious daylight die, experiencing these tragically wasted sunsets, accumulating a mountain of visual regrets. The universe offers a spectacularly free show, but our ungrateful heads are tilted far too low, ignoring the magnificent painted atmosphere, refusing to acknowledge the beauty right here. A glorious panorama that we utterly neglect, failing to show the twilight its proper respect. Magnificent moment of the year. Oh,
proper respect. The sky is dark, mist among stars appear. We are blind here.
A solitary candle casts a projection on the wall, creating an elongated shape that stands incredibly tall. An optical illusion like in any physical substance, a highly deceptive, entirely monochromatic abundance. I observe the grayscale profile imitating my stance, engaged in a highly elusive two-dimensional dance. The darkness completely swallows the vibrant hues, leaving only these deceptive psychological clues. The street lamp angles my silhouette across the pavement, trapping my outline in a very strange enslavement. I walk forward, but the dark figure heavily distorts, engaging in these visual theatrical sorts of sports. The phantom follows my every single cautious step, a secretive companion that I have constantly kept, stretching absurdly across the brickwork facade, a deeply mysterious, entirely silent promenade. Eclipsing the light with a physical form, deviating from the visual colorful norm, a lack of illumination creates a choreography playing a deceptive part, engaged in this elusive shadow dancing, a pantomime routine that is highly entrancing, intertwining shapes without any real touch. We are relying on the darkness far too much, an intangible walks behind the opaque screen, the most mysterious spectacle ever to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. The puppeteer manipulates the paper cutout, soliciting the audience's enthusiastic shouts. A projector beams the shapes onto the hanging sheet, creating an entirely fabricated visual deceit. I trace the perimeter of your darkened contour, a highly ambiguous psychological detour. The mirrors fail to capture this specific trick. The lack of visibility makes the atmosphere thick. The lunar eclipse removes the final glowing beam, plunging the universe into a monochromatic dream. I reach out to touch the flat, projected ghost, the intangible partner that fascinates me the most. We perform a ballet in the absence of the sun, a theatrical performance that is never truly done. The outlines blur and merge into a solid mass, an event that only occurs when the midnight pass, eclipsing the light with a physical form, deviating from the visual colorful norm, a lack of illumination, the art, a choreography playing a deceptive part, engaged in this elusive shadow dancing, a pantomime routine that is highly entrancing, intertwining shapes without any real touch. We are relying on the darkness far too much, an intangible walks behind the opaque screen, the most mysterious spectacle ever to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. Fascinated eyes, we blend entirely into the surrounding pitch black, with absolutely zero capacity to ever turn back. Sneak left,
to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. Blow out the flame, end of the game. The darkness wins, the night begins. Pushing aggressively through the cracked concrete, surviving the harshness of this highly polluted street. The asphalt tries to completely smother the green shoot, but nothing can destroy this remarkably stubborn root. I navigate the crowded sidewalks of the financial district, where the municipal regulations are incredibly strict. A tiny blossom blooms directly beneath the towering skyscraper, defying the restrictive blueprints drawn on the architect's paper.
The subway train violently rattles the pedestrian pavement, trapped inside this massive architectural enslavement. I observe the ivy climbing up the brickwork of the alleyway, reclaiming urban territory day by greedy day. The graffiti murals mimic the vines that we desperately lack, bringing the vibrant colors of the natural ecosystem back. We are metropolitan survivors dwelling in the smoggy haze, navigating our way through this complex municipal maze. Pavement cracking under the immense pressure, finding a highly unconventional natural treasure. Steel and glass blocking out the morning light, but the vegetation refuses to forfeit the fight. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our scuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete jungle where the wild things grow, fighting the metropolitan undertow. Nature reclaims the abandoned parking lot, flourishing exactly in the hardest spot. A botanical rebellion in the city square, breathing the highly contaminated air. The sanitation trucks rumble past the neon corner store, while the municipal pigeons scavenge the littered floor. I plant a tiny seed inside a rusty coffee tin, determined to let the organic biological process begin. The skyscrapers cast massive, intimidating geometric shadows, replacing the beautiful scenery of the rural meadows. But the subterranean networks are slowly expanding wide, a subterranean revolution that the mayor
cannot hide. We cultivate a rooftop garden above the noisy traffic jam, refusing to participate in the corporate synthetic scam. The smog attempts to choke the delicate sprouting leaves, but the resilient flora miraculously adapts and achieves a remarkable victory against the industrial pollution, the ultimate beautifully organic metropolitan solution. I harvest tomatoes grown beside the tower and billboard sign, intersecting the natural world with the strictly urban line. Pavement cracking under the immense pressure, finding a highly unconventional natural treasure. Steel and glass blocking out the morning light, but the vegetation refuses to forfeit the fight. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our scuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete work, tick-tock, grow tall, watch it fall. Sprouting these resilient urban roots, wearing our stuffed heavy leather boots. A concrete jungle where the wild beans grow, fighting the metropolitan undertow. Nature reclaims the abandoned parking lot, flourishing exactly in the hardest spot. A botanical rebellion in the city square, breathing the highly contaminated air. Concrete breaks, the city shakes. Roots go deep while you sleep. A solitary candle casts a projection on the wall, creating an elongated shape that stands incredibly tall. An optical illusion lacking any physical substance, a highly deceptive, entirely monochromatic abundance. I observe the grayscale profile imitating my stance, engaged in a highly elusive two-dimensional dance. The darkness completely swallows the vibrant hues, leaving only these deceptive psychological clues. The street lamp angles my silhouette across the pavement, trapping my outline in a very strange enslavement. I walk forward, but the dark figure heavily distorts, engaging in these visual theatrical sorts of sports. The phantom follows my every single cautious step, a secretive companion that I have constantly kept, stretching absurdly across the brickwork facade. A deeply mysterious, entirely silent promenade eclipsing the light with a physical form, deviating from the visual, colorful norm. A lack of illumination creates the auditoriography, playing a deceptive part, engaged in this elusive shadow dancing, a pantomime routine that is highly entrancing, intertwining shapes without any real touch. We are relying on the darkness far too much, an intangible walls behind the opaque screen, the most mysterious spectacle ever to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. The puppeteer manipulates the paper cutouts, eliciting the audience's enthusiastic shouts. The projector beams the shapes onto the hanging sheet, creating an entirely fabricated visual deceit. I trace the perimeter of your darkened contour, a highly ambiguous psychological detour. The mirrors fail to capture the specific trick, the lack of visibility makes the atmosphere thick. The lunar eclipse removes the final glowing beam, plunging the universe into a monochromatic dream. I reach out to touch the flat projected ghost, the intangible partner that fascinates me the most. We perform a ballet in the absence of the sun, a theatrical performance that is never truly done. The outlines blur and merge into a solid mass, an event that only occurs when the midnight pass eclipse in the light with a physical form, deviating from the visual, colorful norm. A lack of illumination creates the auditory without any real touch. We are relying on the darkness far too much. An intangible walks behind the opaque screen, the most mysterious spectacle ever to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. The surrounding pitch black with absolutely zero capacity to ever turn back. Sneak left, slide right, hide from the light. Flat shape, great escape. Engage in this elusive shadow dancing, a pantomime routine that is highly entrancing, intertwining shapes without any real touch. We are relying on the darkness far too much. An intangible walls behind the opaque screen, the most mysterious spectacle ever to be seen, mimicking the gestures of the human frame, playing a highly secretive silhouette game. Blow out the flame, end of the game. The darkness wins, the night begins. I sit alone upon this wobbly circular bar stool, feeling like an absolute magnificent fool. The bartender hands me a napkin to dry my wet eyes, listening patiently to my pathetic drunken sighs. I ordered a clear botanical spirit with a twist of lime, trying desperately to forget the passage of time. The juniper berry flavor burns intensely going down. The most miserable, intoxicated patron in this town.
The ice cubes melt slowly inside the highball glass, watching the late night lonely pedestrians pass. I signal the tender for another generous pour, staring blankly at the sticky wooden tavern floor. My sailing droplets fall directly into the alcohol, a depressing mixture that offers no comfort at all. The distillation process created an 80-proof escape, but my sorrow simply assumes a different blurry shape. Swallowing the bitter fermented cure, nothing about this remedy is pure. Sobbing quietly in the neon glow, nowhere else for a heartbroken soul to go. Sipping on this salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever met. The pub is entirely empty except for me and the staff. I attempt to muster a fake, unconvincing laugh, but it morphs instantly into a pathetic, heavy sob. Managing this heartbreak is an impossible job.
I trace circles in the condensation up on the counter, a thoroughly defeated, utterly exhausted encounter. The liquor travels fiercely into my empty stomach, a terrible gastrointestinal and emotional pain.
Jukebox plays a slow, agonizingly sad ballad
while I ignore my untouched, wilted side salad.
My mascara runs downwards in dark,
messy streaks, staining my thoroughly flushed, embarrassed cheeks. I grip the cold tumbler until my knuckles turn white, surrendering completely to this miserable night. The intoxicating effects begin to heavily blur my vision, a terrible consequence of a horrible romantic decision. Swallowing the bitter fermented cure, nothing about this remedy is pure. Sobbing quietly in the neon glow, nowhere else for a heartbroken soul to go. Sipping on this salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever met. Stagger out the door. I cannot drink this sadness anymore. Pour it, drink it, cry hard, credit card, stumble home all alone. Sipping on this salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever met. Glasses dry, wipe the eye, bar is closed, heart exposed. I sit alone upon this wobbly circular bar stool, feeling like an absolute magnificent fool. The bartender hands me a napkin to dry my wet eyes, listening patiently to my pathetic drunken sighs. I ordered a clear botanical spirit with a twist of lime, trying desperately to forget the passage of time. The juniper berry flavor burns intensely going down. The most miserable, intoxicated patron in this town.
The ice cubes melt slowly inside that highball glass, watching the late night lonely pedestrians pass.
I signal the tender for another generous pour, directly at the sticky wooden tavern floor.
My saline droplets fall directly into the alcohol,
A depressing mixture that offers no comfort at all. The distillation process created an 80-proof escape, but my sorrow simply assumes a different blurry shade. Swallowing the bitter fermented pure. Nothing about this remedy is pure. Sobbing quietly in the neon glow. Nowhere else for a heartbroken soul to go. Sipping on the salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever met.
The pub is entirely empty except for me and the staff. I attempt to muster a fake, unconvincing laugh, but it morphs instantly into a pathetic, heavy sob. Managing this
Heartbreak is an impossible job. I trace circles in the condensation upon the counter, a thoroughly defeated, utterly exhausted encounter. The liquor travels fiercely into my empty stomach, a terrible gastrointestinal and emotional panic.
The jukebox plays a slow, agonizingly sad ballad,
While I ignore my untouched, wilted side salad.
my mascara runs downwards in dark,
Messy streaks staining my thoroughly flushed, embarrassed cheeks. I grip the cold tumbler until my knuckles turn white, surrendering completely to this miserable night. The intoxicating effects begin to heavily blur my vision, a terrible consequence of a horrible romantic decision. Swallowing the bits of fermented cure. Nothing about this remedy is pure. Sobbing quietly in the neon glow. Nowhere else for a heartbroken soul to go. Sipping on the salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever Last call echoes through the empty room, embracing the impending hangover doom. Pay the tab and stagger out the door. I cannot drink this sadness anymore. Pour it, drink it, cry hard,
credit card,
stumble home,
all alone.
all alone. Sipping on the salty, tearful gin, letting the depressive intoxication win. A clear liquid filled with opaque grief, searching for a very temporary relief. The citrus wedge fails to mask the pain, crying indoors while escaping the rain. A solitary cocktail mixed with sheer regret, the saddest alcoholic beverage I have ever met. Glass is dry, white, the eye bar is closed, heart exposed. Strolling barefoot through the highly fertile agricultural grove, finding an incredibly peaceful, hidden botanical cove. The branches sag heavily beneath the weight of the ripe fruit. A magnificent harvest originating from the deepest earth root.
The equatorial winds carry a remarkably sticky sweet scent.
A beautifully natural environment where my afternoon is spent.
I reach upwards to pluck a vibrant
Yellow-red sphere, the most delicious offering of this entire harvest year.
The trade winds blow gently across the verdant coastal farm, protecting the rural villages from any environmental harm.
I slice the thick skin with a highly sharpened pocket knife,
embracing the simplicity of this incredibly agrarian life. The orange nectar drips
generously down my bearded chin,
a sugary reward for the agricultural labor
I am engaged in. We sit comfortably beneath the vast protective leafy shade, enjoying the most perfect afternoon that nature ever made.
A deeply aromatic,
Fruity perfume making the entire botanical garden bloom. The natural sweetness permeates the air, eliminating every single worldly care. Swaying gently in this mango breeze, finding an absolute equatorial ease. The incredibly sweet scent of the harvest, providing a profoundly relaxing groove. The sugar is ever flowing through the leaves, a botanical blessing that everyone receives, breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector.
I weave a large basket from the flexible dried palm fronds, gathering the fallen produce beside the local
muddy palms.
The villagers sing a highly uplifting traditional folk song, a deeply communal space where we all perfectly belong. The citrusy aroma mixes flawlessly with the salty ocean air, a wonderfully fragrant combination beyond any compare. We share the bounty with every single passing neighborhood friend, hoping this extraordinarily peaceful
Summer will never end. The sticky residue coats my fingertips with a golden glaze, navigating through this remarkably fragrant tropical maze. I press the soft flesh directly against my smiling lips, while the joyful reggae rhythm heavily sways my hips. A flock of exotic parrots walks enthusiastically above, celebrating this environment of agricultural earthy love. The breeze rustles the foliage with a highly satisfying sound, the greatest, most abundant orchard to ever be found. A deeply aromatic, fruity perfume making the entire botanical garden bloom. The natural sweetness permeates the air, eliminating every single worldly care. Swaying gently in this mango breeze, finding an absolute equatorial ease. The incredibly sweet scent of the harvest, providing a profoundly relaxing rural rest. The sugar is ever blowing through the leaves, a botanical blessing that everyone receives, breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector. logical existence complete. Reach high, pull down, sweetest fruit in the town. Bite it, taste the sun, swaying gently in this mango breeze. Finding an absolute equatorial ease, the incredibly sweet scent of the harvest, providing a profoundly relaxing rural rest. The sugary zephyr blowing through the leaves, a botanical blessing that everyone receives, breathing in the highly concentrated nectar, the most beautiful agricultural sector. Sweet and ripe, the perfect type, wind blows soft, look aloft. Carefully placing the diamond stylus upon the groove, commanding the vintage turntable to flawlessly move. The analog hiss provides a highly comfy bed for the sophisticated melodies running through my head. The vacuum tubes inside the amplifier begin to glow, producing an incredibly rich, continuous audio flow. I adjust the equalization knobs on the stereo rack, ensuring that this beautiful composition never lacks.
The drummer firmly establishes the permanent pocket,
Locking the percussion tightly inside the socket.
no rush in the tempo and absolutely no
Dragging behind a meticulously calculated metric that perfectly aligns,
I press my ear against the wooden speaker cone,
analyzing the magnificent texture of the baritone.
the synchronization of the rhythm section is precise,
A flawlessly executed musical slice of paradise. The metronome swings with a constant tick, the guitarist executes a masterful trick, maintaining the pace with absolute grace, securing our spot in this sonic space, keeping the frequency beautifully jazz. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready, a seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious acoustic awards, sailing smoothly upon a constant rhythmic wave, the most reliable performance you could ever crave, unyielding, unchanging, dependably cool, following every single orchestrational rule.
The brass section harmonizes with zero mistakes, delivering perfection on all the studio takes. The pianist glides across the ivory keys with an unprecedented, unbelievable level of ease.
The bass frequencies anchor the foundation down, the tightest, most cohesive quartet in the town. We calibrate the microphones to capture the room, eliminating any harshness or unnecessary boom. The fidelity of the recording is spectacularly clear, pleasing the sophisticated, highly critical ear. The magnetic tape captures the authentic sound, the most professional musicians to ever be found. I catalog the album inside my extensive library, a phenomenal addition to the auditory sanctuary. The spindle rotates at 33 revolutions, providing the ultimate rhythmic resolution. The metronome swings with a constant tick, the guitarist executes a masterful trick, maintaining the pace with absolute grace, securing our spot in this sonic space, keeping the frequency beautifully jazzed. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready, a seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious acoustic every single orchestration. An unbelievable feat. The groove is cemented, the foundation is strong and absolutely flawless, uninterrupted song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it tight, give them more. Keeping the frequency beautifully dry. The ensemble is persistently, permanently ready. A seamless progression of sophisticated chords, winning all the prestigious acoustic awards. Sailing smoothly upon a constant rhythmic wave. The most reliable performance you could ever crave. Unyielding, unchanging, dependably cool, following every single orchestration. Favorite track, do not look back. The record into all my